What is up, everyone? Welcome to the No Life Digital Podcast. How are y'all doing this fine evening? Today we got tons of interesting big stories coming out of both gaming and tech. Let's jump into it. What's up, homies? How was your weekends? Or your weeks? It's kind of like really middle of the week now.
Yeah, it's been fine. The weather's getting better, which that's been nice. And now that I'm adjusted to daylight savings, I like it again.
I know, like having like sun.
Yeah, it's nice.
Having
like
sun
when we
back
do
in
this,
your life.
when we record this show, it's still sunny out. Yeah, that's nice.
I know. It is weird, like the first few nights too, like when you leave work and you're like, wait, bright out? I can still go do things?
Oh yeah, like I go and visit my parents probably once a week, and I've been fucking up each of these weeks because I'm used to like, oh, it's dark out, I guess it's time to visit them.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh no, now it's getting dark at like 9 o'clock and they just get mad.
Yeah.
It's too late.
I'm pumped for it to get warm. I'm so done with this cold. It was nice today. A little chilly.
It's getting a little warmer.
It's warm enough for when I take my drive home, I can open up the sunroof of my car.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there, which is nice. It's I mean, my favorite thing like living in the city is just being able to like walk outside and not have to bundle up fucking 10 layers because I got to go like pick up milk or something. And you kind of just run out the house and get going. But
I mean, you could do that outside of the city too. It's just you have a car.
True, but
you have this magical.
You're not forced to fucking trek through the fucking streets of Philadelphia. Yeah, what's been going on? I don't think anything really. Nothing too crazy is going on. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just jump into it. I've been playing Division 2, man. I got the Division 2. I've been ripping on it. I'm not very far. I might be like out of the first district. But it does feel a lot like the first. But what I like about this one is that it is more rewarding. The gunplay is more rewarding. The drops are more rewarding. There seems to be like a lot of fun stuff to do. There's always like little paths you can go down. The story is pretty good. It seems like it's just like they just kind of improved it and made it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more fun, a little less spongy, a lot less spongy than the first, and then a little bit less spongy than what it felt like in the beta. And I've been having a pretty good time with it. But I'm also not playing with other people. I'm kind of just like playing like an hour or two a night, just like trolling around the city, seeing what's new, taking the story real slow. I have no interest in like grinding right through this game, getting to end game, and then trying to, min-max my characters. It just doesn't seem like that type of game anymore to me. It seems more of just like shoot enemies, make your guy look cool, play with different skills, go to different districts. That's about it. That's all I really wanted out of it. I don't think I'm gonna get like all the passes and stuff like that, just because I didn't really enjoy the first one too much. Once you got past like the first 3/4 of the game, you start to get into like the end game stuff. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like a little bit more of the same shit, just like bullet sponge dudes.
Yeah, and I'm even okay with some bullet sponge, but I don't have any faith anymore in a AAA studio figuring out looter shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. They've all been pretty disappointing.
The best one still to me is Warframe, which is a little free indie studio. Every other third like AAA attempt at it's been like, this is okay.
Yeah, this one I don't know. It seems like it seems like they put a little extra effort into like crafting stuff, like a story, you know what I mean, and like making the side missions seem cohesive. And it is a very, very like big fun map, which makes combat pretty fun. But that's about it. That seems like the only sort of improvements that have been made. It still is like the same sort of game. I do love that cover system. The cover system's pretty fun, and I wish it was in like other games. I wish it was implemented differently in other games, because I think that cover system is really cool. Like you basically point to any corner of anything and your guy will just kind of go there. But you can do stuff while your guy is running towards these cover spots, which makes it it feels like you're always kind of moving around doing shit. But it is a division looter shooter style game, so if you're not into that, then there's no point. I wasn't even gonna get it, but I was kind of bored. I'm almost done with Devil May, so time to get a new game. And then we have Shadows Die Twice coming out. When is that coming out? In 2 days? Is that on the 22nd?
I want to say the 22nd. That sounds right.
Then Sekiro is coming out too, or Sekiro, whatever.
That's what I said.
Hero Shadows Die Twice, the new From Software game.
Yeah, March 22nd.
Yep.
Yeah, this Friday. Yeah, boy.
I'm not gonna pick it up at launch. I'm gonna definitely check it out though, and I'll probably get it when it's on sale.
Yep.
I'm definitely getting this at launch.
Like I enjoy the Souls like hard games, but my backlog is currently backed up.
What are you backlogged with? Apex?
Horizon Zero Dawn is the next game I'm gonna start up soon.
Oh, you haven't played that yet?
No, I got the
He hasn't even beaten The Witcher yet. Of course he
Oh,
hasn't
true.
played it yet.
I still have to beat that. No, I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn a couple weeks ago. It was like $20 for the complete edition
Yeah.
with the DLC and everything. So it was like $20. That's not bad.
Oh,
And
it's
that-
fucking amazing.
That entirely outlines my current problem with the Nintendo Switch.
What?
It
That doesn't
Good
have
luck.
Horizon?
No, it's that
doesn't have sales.
it doesn't have sales. Like,
Uh.
you could go buy all of Horizon Zero Dawn for $20. You want to go buy Mario? It's still $60.
Yep.
Both won Game of the Year the same year.
Well, I mean,
One of those is not like the other.
you'll be able to get it on sale. It's just like for like the big holidays. It's not gonna randomly just be $20.
Yeah, but I just mean like it's not like the normal console pricing thing where it's just like, no, this
It's
game's 2 years old. We're gonna sell whatever copies we can.
Nope. You're paying 60. How much is fucking Splatoon 2? How much is ARMS?
$60. All of
60?
them are still $60.
Switch-
Oh, really?
No, none of them go get cheaper.
Nope. Unless it's a holiday, like a Black Friday or something. And then you'll be able to get deals on them.
Well, it's because there's not many games, so they can't. They have to fucking
I mean,
get.
Jerry, you also got to keep an eye on Amazon and look up.
No, I agree. Like, I have been able to find some of them dipping down to 40.
That's
But
pretty
it's still
good.
Just like,
That's as low as you're gonna get.
I know, but that's been my problem with it. Of just like, all right, I was able to buy a PlayStation 3, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and Spider-Man for the price that it cost me to buy the Switch and Mario.
That's what happens when
That's
the
just
systems are a
Nintendo.
couple years
Nintendo
apart.
fucking sucks, dude. They're online. They make you pay for their shitty online. It's so fucking bad.
The rest of it's amazing, but that still irks me, and it's probably always going to irk me.
I still argue that the shitty online comes with Tetris 99, and that's still worth $20.
I don't know, man. That online makes me so mad sometimes. It's so bad because I love Smash. Like I don't even know how many hours I have on Smash already. But
I mean, the last couple times I've played Smash online, I mean, I'm also routed through the Ethernet with the adapter. I haven't really had that many
Another
problems.
cost.
yeah, no.
Dude, you guys have heard me bitch multiple times about I don't understand why the dock doesn't have an Ethernet adapter.
I know. No, and it's all.
They
There's
should make it so
many
you buy the adapter and it give you
We-
the fucking year for the fucking.
We don't
online.
need 3 USB ports.
No,
There's no need for 3 of them.
no. No, but the
Oh.
online is just I don't know. They need to fucking fix it in Smash, and in Splatoon, and in Mario Tennis. It's all bad, and you have to
Yeah,
fucking.
they gotta
pay
get
for it.
Microsoft to do their online forum.
Yeah.
Hey, the way we're heading, that might be what they do.
That'd be fine with me, man.
That would be fine.
All right, well
Imagine
Related-
Microsoft making that.
Related to the Switch, that's all I've been doing every single time I go to bed is just playing South Park for like a half hour.
in your bed.
Uh-oh, he's turning into a bed gamer, dude.
No, like that's how I've started realizing like it's bedtime is I can just do that for like a set half hour till my melatonin kicks in, and then fall asleep instead of sitting there watching YouTube for another 6 hours.
Yeah. Yo, that's the best part about the Switch, dude. You can fucking just game right on the couch, lay on the couch, lay in your bed, and start playing.
And
Wow.
also, there needs to be more South Park games because I'm convinced that is like the ultimate console for South Park games.
The Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would have. I would have loved to play through the first two on the Switch. But that's not a game you really kind of want to go back to. All the jokes get pretty old.
Yeah.
They have very low replayability.
Yeah.
That's why I never ended up watching through them all. I was like, oh, I bought them both on sale super cheap. I got them both for like $30, having a blast.
Yeah, they're fun little games. All right. Speaking of which, streaming. Google is going to get into the gaming market with their new Stadia streaming console killer service thing. This made lots of headlines recently. This was announced today or yesterday? It was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially what Google's doing, they built up this huge sort of infrastructure to house the streaming service. What is exactly here it is. They got the specs here. Stadia scope is on an entirely different level. Google says it'll power the servers running custom CPUs and AMD GPUs capable of 10.7 teraflops on par with NVIDIA's GTX 1080 Ti. In comparison, the Xbox One, the most powerful console today, has 6 teraflops. The company claims Stadia will support up to 4K HDR at 60 frames per second, something that only gaming PCs can achieve today. Mind you, very expensive gaming PCs. It's also eyeing 8K 120 plus frames per second down the line, specs that no game supports today.
Quite a ways down the line, by the way.
I mean, essentially, if it's just streaming video,
No, it's easier to just stream that video than to run it. But I'm just saying that's still
a lot
quite a
more
ways down the way where it's just like, wow, we just finally got an 8K TV service. this year.
I mean, people still don't have 4K.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how long it's going to take for people to get 8K TVs and
I'm
then
gonna
let
hold
people
off
develop for 8K.
I'm going to hold off on all of my comments until the very end.
Why? I want to hear your comments. What are your comments on it?
No, I mean, like, let's go through the story first, and then I'll lay down my concerns.
All right. Well, basically what this is
there's concerns. There's valid concerns, but I still think
there's a lot of concerns.
yeah.
There's a lot of pros, a lot of cons.
Yeah.
I have some big concerns too, but it's essentially, you would say you have a Chromecast or you have, the service on your phone, basically anything with a screen
that can run a Chrome browser.
Yeah, anything that runs a Chrome browser, you'll be able to, or basically anything that runs YouTube, you'll be able to stream gameplay, just like how NVIDIA's Game Stream did it, just like how Liquid Sky does it. Streams the gameplay, which is running on a remote server, through the cloud, and just feeds you basically a live video feed of what you're playing on that server, which is awesome. And then they talked about this new controller that they're releasing, which essentially it connects to Wi-Fi. So it's not connecting to your phone or your Chromecast. It's connecting straight directly to the Wi-Fi to the server, which is going to help reduce the latency, as they say. And the controller looks like kind of like a DualShock controller. I don't know why they went with the DualShock design. It's kind of dumb.
It's still like the DualShock design. It's
more than the Xbox.
Yeah, honestly, because I've always been a Sony fanboy.
I wish they would have went Xbox, but to each their own.
Like I grew up with the PlayStation 1 and an N64, so it's just like that's always been more natural to me.
Yeah.
But I do get the appeal of the Xbox controller. The problem the Xbox controller always had is they were always too big for me.
Yeah.
Like especially the original Xbox, it's like this fucking big.
No, it's stupid.
It's absurd.
But these new ones are I mean, I think they're the
they've
best.
gotten better, yeah. But also related to the controller, you don't have to use their controller.
No, you don't.
They did say multiple times you can use any Bluetooth or USB controllers or mouse keyboard, things like that.
You could connect to the device through Bluetooth.
Google Chrome now supports Joy-Cons.
Yeah, that too.
So
which is awesome. That's great.
You can go buy their controller and we'll see if it's worth it because of that Wi-Fi.
I mean, I'm assuming they did that so that you can play on your Switch,
I think, yeah. Well, they think it's also, I mean, dude, you just I would buy that for my phone. I'd buy their controller with the stupid little phone adapter for my phone, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the reason they're
I want-
connecting it to Wi-Fi, besides to reduce latency, is that it really does. If you're switching from whatever screen you're playing on,
It's
the
instant.
controller's always connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just connected to the client. So
Mhm.
there's a
Now-
lot. That's one of the pros to the
And
service.
I do want to
Yeah, I will chalk that as a pro.
what that latency is versus just running it off your computer.
Yeah, I am curious as well.
Of like just
Because
yeah,
the
dude, I
latency
got-
when I used Game Stream, it was noticeable, but it wasn't that bad. So if
Yeah.
they could chop that down in half, then that's pretty damn good. And if over time it gets better, then it's gonna be pretty
Well, yeah.
efficient.
I'm just even thinking, what's going to be the difference between running this Wi-Fi versus no, I just have a hardwired computer, because Ethernet cord's always beaten Wi-Fi and is probably always going to beat Wi-Fi for the near future.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll definitely help out. It'll definitely help. Maybe they'll give you a better bit rate and it just looks a little bit better, or there's less latency, maybe both. But that's one of the pros is that the controller you're running client side, so you don't have to worry about that. Another interesting pro that they talked about is basically there's no cheating or hacking because they control the server. Everyone gets pulled through their server. So there's no way that you can get into that server to cheat or hack, which I think is pretty interesting. It's not like
While at the same time, on the flip side to that, there is no modding whatsoever.
no modding. No, you're not
It's
not
just-
downloading
it's-
anything.
It's just the other side of the coin.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
It's-
don't chalk
it's-
that as a pro or a con.
This is one of those
Two sides of the coin.
services I don't see.
Well, no modding is definitely a con.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Mine's a cop.
Yeah, but
I
it's
played
also
Fallout.
not. It's also not aimed towards the consumer that's going to mod to begin with.
Yeah, it's more console. It's like a console sort of device. You're not getting mods on console. And then we have what else is another pro for this service? Basically that there's unlimited resources. So however powerful that they can make this service, that's however powerful developers can use. So they can, if they want to push 8K 120 frames per second, they're not beholden to any console hardware. It's
So
just
they're-
this
those-
super mega infrastructure that they're powered
Those
by.
like teraflops and everything, like a lot of stuff, it can actually be stacked. So they can stack things to make it more powerful if they need to.
Yeah, which is
And
great.
that's a pro. I will give it. That is a pro.
Yeah. So if you want to make the biggest fucking game possible, that's like 3 terabytes large, you can do that. You're not beholden to any console. You don't have any limitations per console, which is awesome. There's all cross-platform. It's all anyone can. There's just all cross-platform play. What else do we have here? What else do we have? They're the way that they're kind of tying it into YouTube, I think is pretty cool. They showed off basically if you were watching a streamer who's streaming one of their games on YouTube through this service, you'll be able to just press a button and hop right into their game, which is really, really cool. There's like instant hop on. So as soon as you press play, you're just boop, you turn the browser on just like you would a web page, you're hopped right into that game, which is insane.
I think that's really cool. My only problem with that is that if they're gonna really rely on that, they need to fix YouTube gaming.
Oh, what's wrong with YouTube gaming?
I mean, it can't compete at all with Twitch at all.
No.
I
No,
would
but I don't.
almost argue that Mixer is a better platform than YouTube gaming.
No, I don't. I don't think they're going to aim it towards live streaming though. I think they're aiming it towards
More towards the recorded content.
In
It's
like
more- I think
co-op,
it's
just
more
co-op
towards
play.
I'm recording this segment and posting it than like I'm live streaming it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even think they really need to compete with Twitch in that realm because they like YouTube is its own thing sort of.
I mean, YouTube definitely shines in its content created, not its live streamed content.
And that's another thing. Like, I think a lot of streamers, if this is good enough and they're streaming a game, if you wanted to play with that streamer and they like had some sort of membership program where only, $5 a month members can join your game, that'd be really enticing to those streamers, especially like ones
really
coming
easy
up.
to make sub games. Yeah.
So that's another pro there. And I think that's pretty much it for pros.
Well, the other big pro is like you can play it on anything. Like that
Yeah.
would be really cool. Is if
Anyone who has internet, good internet.
Well, it'd be cool if like I'm on the go.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, but like if I can just pull out my iPad and like
Start playing games.
and then a Bluetooth keyboard, you know, and I'm playing
A
like
Chromebook, dude. A
real
$200
games.
Chromebook. You know,
Yeah,
it's really there's no performance requirements other than your
and
internet.
actually that's the other thing too. It actually works stupidly well on Chromebooks,
Yeah.
which is important, and that's why it works so well on all these phones and everything like that. You don't need any GPU acceleration. You don't need any hardware acceleration on any of these things.
As long as you can watch a video, you should be able to use this service the way it's meant to be used. And this is what I think is the future of gaming. We've been talking about like this live stream gaming thing. Like imagine if Microsoft contacts them and they have like that, you know, Netflix of gaming. I mean,
I think
that's
it's gonna be part of
huge.
it.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
I think it's going to
man.
be part of the future for sure.
I would say, yeah, I would definitely say part of the future. That's one of my fears is that, and we'll get into it further, but like, it can't be the only future. There has to be a presence for digital titles as well as physical. I definitely
I
think
don't
that
know.
having more options is a good thing, but a streamlined only future is extremely negative towards indie developers, as well as preserving the legacy of games.
Well, let's get into the cons. Con being latency is an issue, the biggest issue that a lot of people are worried about. During the presentation, you could actually kind of see the latency. There was kind of like video stuttering going on. Granted, they were showing this off at a convention floor. Who knows how good the fucking Wi-Fi or the connection is there. But it doesn't seem completely polished yet. It still seems like it's like an early access area.
And the people that did get a hold and play it, you know, they were like, "Oh, the latency's not that bad." You have to remember that this was a controlled environment using Google's own internet, which I guarantee you they made sure was as stable as they could get it.
Yeah.
You know, it's extremely controlled.
But I also
example
to as a counterpoint to the latency, I do agree that it's the most worrying thing of it for me. But for most of these games that I would play on the service, I do not give a shit.
Yeah, like if you're playing like any blockbuster title, like an Uncharted or Assassin's Creed, it doesn't really matter that much as long as
Yeah.
it's playable. As long as it's not like you press a button and then you know a tick later, then he
Like
moves.
I'm not gonna go start playing CS:GO or an FPS or like a Dota or like a huge
or
platform.
Rocket League or any competitive
Yeah,
game.
I'm not gonna play like a super competitive game on this platform. I want it so I can, when I'm at visiting,
Not
my
yet. Not yet.
I can like whip it out and just be like, cool, I'm playing Uncharted or something.
I'm curious to know how many people would only use this service if it got to that point where it's basically native.
I'm sure some, but to me,
I don't think I'd ever
I
buy a
don't-
console again.
I honestly think it would be, I don't want to say niche, but I don't think it would be more than people who would prefer to play on their consoles, either digitally or physically.
which still
I don't think it would overtake that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could eventually.
I
The
think it would
only
be
the-
definitely more than like people who are PC only. Like it would be more than PC Master Races.
Well, I'm curious to know because the biggest con too is that you have to have an internet connection at all times to even think about playing this.
Not only do you not only have to have an internet connection at all times, but if at any point they remove a game from that service, there is zero chance, unless a developer leaks it, that you will ever have a chance to get it again. And that's my problem with preserving like the gaming legacy.
Right.
So if they decide, if you wanted, let's say they had Madden on there, right? And you got Madden 19, Madden 20, 21, wherever we're going up.
And then the next
Let's
one
say
comes
you
out.
really liked Madden 19, but Madden 20 came out and they just were not hosting Madden 19 on here anymore. And this is the only
Right.
place you can get Madden. You're fucked. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. My biggest example is you look at the all digital landscape with Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. And I know that people go, it's one game. Unless you pirate it or you already bought it, you have no legal way of obtaining that game.
I didn't even know it was a game.
It's a
Me
great
either.
game. It's it's an extremely well made beat 'em up.
But to
But
counter,
licensing rights, it's
I think a
cool.
better example of what you're arguing for is why we spent probably 10 years bitching at Blizzard to get World of Warcraft Classic.
Oh
that
yeah,
would be a better example that a lot of people can instantly know.
yeah. You had no
Yeah.
access to that.
Like it's just gone.
Yeah, that's a
you know?
big
It's
issue
gone.
too. Yeah, you can't. It's up to their service. Like, that's interesting too, because like, what are those, like, the censorship stuff gonna come into play? Like, if I wanted to make a JFK assassination game, are they gonna allow me to host it on their platform? Like,
And what happens? What
No, and
happens?
probably that's a different debate to me personally. If you're gonna make JFK
And
assassinate,
you know they're gonna have first party games that are exclusive to this like device, that are exclusive to this service. What
like, what
happens
if GTA?
in
What if GTA is on the platform, and then all of a sudden you know they're just like, we don't like that you can kill hookers in this game, so boom, it's gone.
gone?
then you go and
Yeah,
buy it on Steam.
yeah,
That's the other
But
thing.
what
is
happens if the
diversity is taking over
exclusive?
everything.
Yeah, that's like the thing is what happens with the exclusive? What happens, say, in 10 years, they decide, you know what, we're not going to just host these servers anymore. This wasn't a project that really worked, but people really like those games.
yeah. I
And
didn't
that's-
realize
that's
how
a
big of a
very-
Never playing them again.
I didn't realize
That's
how
a
big of a
very
problem
cool
this
thing to
actually
do.
is.
That's
This
a
is
very Google thing to do.
yeah.
Oh, of course it is. I
But
can name you all of the things Google
I
has
think-
done that has completely bombed.
yeah, but like I think
Yeah,
think
that
if
was one of my
you-
big worries as well. Is like them just being like, this doesn't work as good as we wanted it, so let's just not do it anymore.
I
That's
am
my biggest
worried
worry.
about it, but I'm not
Just-
as worried.
They're just
about
gonna
it.
Google Allo it.
Even your
Yeah.
digital media, you at least have the files.
Yeah,
If you
but
were
like
able to store them, you still have the files. But
For
this,
me-
you don't. You have anything. You have no access to literally anything but a video.
Yeah,
true, but like also at the same time, to me personally, like, yeah, I still have a lot of old games, and I still re-buy old games. I don't fucking play them.
I play them all the time. That's
Right,
not-
so that matters more.
I also know I'm niche. I'm
Yeah.
a niche fucking. I'm
Like
a-
for me, I've been sitting here for like 3 weeks. Like I should probably replay Age of Empires 2 because I still have it. And every time I load it up, I'd sit there for like 5 minutes and go like, I'm okay, I'm done.
yeah.
still
I'm
play
not
my
too
Super
worried
Nintendo
about that. I don't really play old games at all. I want the newest
And
and
I
next
think there
best
is-
thing.
Yeah, like I do think there is a place for that, and that is a worry. But at the same time, I'm not as
Yeah, I-
worried towards a new platform just completely doing that, where it's like by the time it probably does die,
Yeah.
no one's gonna miss it.
For me, it's not like none of my concerns are things that are like we shouldn't have this be a thing at all. They're just concerns. That's all
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, which I mean, then there's a lot. Like,
And they're
yeah,
they're
and I think-
reasonable concerns. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a place in the marketplace for the streaming service. I think it's a good thing. I think having options is always a good thing.
yeah, like if this were to be run almost natively, and it's, you know, if it can push that 4K HDR, 60 frames per second on my TV, I would mainly game on this device. You know what I mean? I probably won't buy the next consoles. I'll probably get this device because I don't play
People-
that
yeah.
much. Like I don't play. There's not many times where I want to play a game and I don't have internet connection. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
The-
and
the-
that's another thing is like internet connection, having a good internet connection,
yeah.
not having a data cap on your internet connection.
I'm curious to
Which,
know
by the
who
way-
has data caps.
Anyone who has AT&T, and if you have AT&T, I'm sorry, you fucked yourself.
Yeah, don't. We're gonna talk about that story later.
And I live in an area where our only option is Comcast. I don't have another option. They are the only ones in town.
Yeah.
No, I know, and that is a concern to have. That's actually my biggest concern, even more than the latency.
Oh yeah, that's definitely my biggest concern is really the data caps.
it's-
And
I'm less
But do
concerned.
you have data caps with Comcast?
I
think so.
don't know, but I do know that there can be at certain times of the day throttling, slow down.
No, they'll throttle you. They don't have a data
Yeah.
cap.
So let's say it's 7 p.m. You really want to play a
Yeah,
game.
It costs
and
more
you're
money
being
or it
throttled.
stops you.
You know, let's say your internet is usually throttled at 7 p.m. and you really want to play a game at that time, but you're being throttled to the point where the game is just, you're not getting the quality you want. You can't really complain to Google about it because they're going to go, well, you have to talk to your ISP.
Yeah.
Unless they brought Google Fiber World, nationwide, but that ain't happening.
Right. You don't have Verizon?
I have Verizon. They are in the area somewhat, but they're not everywhere around here. And it depends on where you live. Like if you live in the apartments,
You should see if you can.
you
You
ain't
should.
getting it.
You should see if you can get Verizon. Get off Comcast, dude. They're so bad.
Oh, I know.
They're such
I know.
trash. Yeah. So internet, always having internet is a huge worry, and the speed of the internet. And then I didn't
I will-
realize
well,
like
with the data cap, I will be more concerned once we know the size of these files.
Yeah.
Because that's
From
something I'm
I've
wondering
seen
about.
online is a lot of people are saying that it's anywhere, depending on, of course, it all depends on what source you're sending. Like if you're sending 1080p, it's going to be a lot less than if you're sending 4K.
Right. But I also mean
But
that
yeah,
it is Google. They more than most people, I think, can figure out how to package that download size to be incredibly small. I mean,
From-
look at YouTube.
yeah.
YouTube's actually stupidly small for what the quality is.
yeah.
Everything I saw online that I looked up was, of course, assuming because we don't know anything for
Right.
certain, was it could be 15 to 20 gigs an hour.
Yeah. Which is it's a pretty big amount. I mean, if you're
Which that would be
serving
big. If they can get it, and what I'm saying is if they can get it to be smaller to the size of YouTube, it would honestly probably be smaller than the actual download size of the game.
and I'm sure they'll have different options where it's like, hey, play this at 720, play this at 10, like how YouTube does it. You know, if you have a data cap, then maybe you want to drop it down to 720 or 1080, play on a smaller screen. It'll look fine. Or if you have, if you want to play some 4K gaming, then slam your ISP, fucking 20 gigs an hour.
Yeah, get that shit under some freaking regulation. I don't know, man.
It's a lot. I mean, my 4K files out of my camera are pretty fucking big, so I can imagine it'll be somewhere near that. But I don't know what codecs they're using. That would be interesting to find out, like what kind of codec they're using to send these kind of gaming/video files.
That's what I'm gonna end up being concerned about related towards the internet. The internet is my biggest concern, but right now it means nothing to me without seeing what the codec is, what the file size is, things like that.
Yeah, I am curious to know how they're doing it.
If you live in rural America, good luck.
Well, some rural places have some good internet, man.
Some rural,
isn't Oklahoma City like the first city that got Google Fiber? Was like Oklahoma,
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yeah, I'm saying that's a city though. That's not rural.
That is a city.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
not rural.
I'm talking rural. I'm talking like you out in the boons.
Yeah. If
Which
you're
at that
boons.
point there's so many other options that aren't going to go away.
You better find a hobby going hunting instead of gaming.
Or
I don't know, like
there's so many other things that aren't just gonna instantly vanish because of this survey.
I know. I'm saying,
or just like pester your fucking your town lobby and get some better internet, man. You should be able to be everyone in America. We should be able to get ourselves some like good internet at least.
There should be options at the least.
Hopefully, this kind of stuff and maybe some other new video platform stuff that'll entice people to say like, "The fuck's up with this internet?" That is
actually the other biggest thing is how much is it going to cost, and why the fuck do I have to pay yet another subscription on top of Netflix, on top of YouTube, on top of music, on top of
That's
HBO
the way it is
now because it's HBO now season. It's Game of Thrones season. Okay, that's gonna be the other killer of. They have to have something that makes a subscription worth it.
What would be what would be just a no-go for you? $10 a month? $20 a month?
No, it's not even the price. It's just got to be the quality to go with it.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, what's a price that you just wouldn't even fuck with?
Probably $30 because I wouldn't use enough.
So $20 you'd be cool with?
I'd prefer 15. I'd prefer like Netflix, but
if they were like
probably live with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to see that the quality too, but I'm just curious to know like if what's
like, to me, I
can imagine it being more expensive than Netflix for sure. I can imagine it.
I can imagine that too, but if you do that, you better come swinging out of the gate. Is what I think of like.
And will Google come swinging out of the gate?
Right.
My biggest worry.
Exactly.
Is this going to turn into Allo?
You can't be like, all right, it's $20 a service, and we have.
This just on live too.
Yeah.
You got to come out there sitting like, cool. We have here's 100 games you can start playing instantly this month, including AAA's.
I will say that when they unveiled this, they announced 3 games, none of which were any first-party exclusives, and that.
What games did they announce?
Something that's a little. They had Assassin's Creed there. They had 2 others. I can't remember.
I got them right here. Doom
But
Eternal, Assassin's Creed, and something from Q Games.
yeah, but they had nothing first party to announce, which is, I mean, I know they've been hiring people, but you would have liked to have at least had one like
Google
here's
game.
what we've been working on an exclusive game only on this service.
I think that's going to take a while because I don't personally, even though I am a Google fanboy at heart,
I don't think this is going to launch very well at first.
I don't think it's going to launch very well. But what I was going to say is I don't ever see this as, and this is why I'm less concerned about like the legacy of games you're talking about. I don't ever see them having like a sick exclusive. Like they already tried.
I mean, they did
before with the Ouya. They are not a game making.
What's his name came out and said like, I'm not.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The head guy who like started the keynote, he's like, I'm not really a gamer. I don't really play games, but we know that gaming is a big part of people's lives and AI development.
It wasn't Sundar, because Sundar was like, oh yeah, I still play this one game every single day, basically.
He was the one that came out of the keynote, wasn't he though?
I don't know. I haven't seen the whole keynote yet, but it was like there was one moment where Sundar's like basically like I play Rocket League 1 hour a day every day because I'm an addict.
Do you think he actually plays Rocket League? Or do you think he's just trying to get gamer points?
I play the Rocket Leagues and I like
Pokemon
and the Pokemon.
He plays solitaire on his fucking Windows PC.
That's why I also don't.
I'm a big fan of everything. I'm a big fan of the Epics Legends.
So I don't know.
They're not going to release a AAA game like that. That's my point. There's no legacy of games that's going to be worth them.
And that's
being remembered for. They made the fucking Ouya. They're not going to come out with a killer game.
And how many games are going to come out on this streaming service that will have microtransactions or be a games as a service where you're dumping money into something you don't even own?
We'll see. That is another concern. I see that.
But that's kind of how they're all going. Like Microsoft's going to be doing the same thing with Azure.
They are doing that, but it's also like I have a little bit less just because like it's probably still going to be run under Play Store model, and like Play Store model is, yeah, they're not like I don't see Google prioritizing that because Google doesn't make nearly as much money as say like Apple or someone else off of like the Play Store model.
I'm wondering if they're gonna say, okay, to use our service is like $3 a month, but then you have to buy the game on this thing to play the game. I wonder if that's how it's gonna work, because I can't imagine they're just gonna say, here's Assassin's Creed for free.
Like say it costs $10 and you have like a PS Now style access of games you can always play and then buy a game.
Yeah, it's to be
That's
seen.
the thing though. You're buying a game, but you're still streaming it.
Yeah.
What happens when that stream gets taken down? That's what I'm saying.
That's almost all.
If you're buying a game, I want to have some kind of, whether it's a file or some kind of proof that I own.
Even then though, you still don't with any digital.
Yeah.
Almost when you buy a game from Steam, you're technically licensing it.
I think the same for all consoles.
All of them. That's you don't actually own it still.
No, you don't own it, but I'm saying there is a proof that it's on your system with the files.
Yeah.
And God forbid they stop selling it on that store, it doesn't mean I can't stop playing it.
Yeah, well, this would
thing
be
with, like, buying a streamed game is how do you protect it so that you can continue to play that game?
You can't. Once it's off the server, it's gone.
Then essentially you're renting it.
Yeah.
Which is where a subscription service model over a buy model would make more sense.
Yeah, that's true. They would have to do a subscription then. I don't know. It'd be interesting unless it was a cheaper. Say the games were like $10 off to rent them. You know, you rent them for however long it's on that platform. I mean, is it worth it then? Because some games I'm not gonna fucking play later. You know, I'm not gonna play Madden 17. Jerry might play it, but I'm not gonna play.
That's also because I'm just not gonna bother buying the new one.
Exactly.
So it's like you know, it could be worth it for some game. It's gonna be interesting.
I am buying the new Madden though, because Trey Flowers though.
Let's do it. I'll play with you. But I'm super excited for it. I want an all streaming future. I want it all done from off my fucking phone. I want to be able to do everything off of a phone in my pocket. Now with folding phones, I'm getting so hyped for the fucking future of gaming and tech.
I don't mind a digital future, Like, I don't mind having like a majority.
Don't worry, they'll still sell amiibos. You can still go buy
No, I know.
amiibos.
Thank God for limited run games. Like, they are great at making sure that physical releases do happen. Um, and
They're good at like prying money out of your wallet.
I'm just a purist.
You
And
are.
I know I'm a dying breed.
No, you're not gonna die. There'll still be shit out there for you.
But the only thing is, like, I just what worries me is if
You want to be able to play the game when you want to play it, and that's not what's gonna happen with this console.
No,
that's
yeah.
just not how it's gonna work.
Yeah. And that was the other thing with indie developers, with streaming, and that is kind of a bit problematic. And it's not just Google; it's all of the streaming. Like, if they streamed Future,
Yeah.
those indie developers, so a lot of them have come out and talked about it. These companies who are doing the streaming stuff, when they like license a game to put on their service, they're not paying them really anything. They're paying them by hours played per player. So you're asking them to compete with AAA gaming, and you're going to pay them at a, like, however often people play your game is how much you're getting paid for it. And the kind of risk reward to put in the man hours, to put in the money, the investment to make a game that maybe not a lot of people play, so they don't get paid a lot. You're going to see a lot of indie developers just not make games because it's not worth the risk for that platform.
Or for any streaming platform.
Yeah, any streaming platform.
So
and if streaming becomes the main line, it's a big hit on the indie community.
And it is, and that
they're gonna have to do some like unionizing or something.
Well,
that doesn't sound right.
I think there's still a long way to go of major variables before we discover if that's the future or not.
I think it is. I think there's going to be a lot of money in it. We're also discounting all of the people who play games who aren't like us, that just want to play an hour of fucking Candy Crush or just rip some races.
Absolutely perfect.
That's like a huge market, and I think they're going to make a lot of money in that market, and then Microsoft or Apple or Nintendo, they're going to see that and they're going to go, oh, let's get a piece of this pie. And then we'll see how it gets.
This is the future of mobile gaming to me, but that doesn't mean this is the future of all gaming to me.
No.
Nintendo's already tested it in Japan with Resident Evil 7, I believe.
Yeah.
Where people were playing Resident Evil 7 on their Switch because they were
having I remember that, yeah.
It didn't work very well. Like, it wasn't like, I mean, it was okay, but I know, right?
Yeah, Nintendo's Online is not meant for anything. Not even a chat. So I can't imagine streaming working on the Switch.
For me, I'm cautiously optimistic about this service.
I'm super optimistic about it. I want to see how it actually runs. But I can guarantee you we're going to see this is not the end of it. I can't wait for Microsoft to release their Azure-based streaming platform because I said, there's so many games where I would
xCloud, right?
I think they're calling it like, I don't know.
I thought it was called xCloud. Microsoft's?
Yeah. Well, it's based on their Azure cloud system.
Yeah, it's based on the Azure, but the official name is xCloud.
Yeah.
Which you could see on your Switch because of the relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that I'm not going to play in the future. And I wouldn't mind to just stream it for a few hours. Bada bing, bada boom. Get me out of here.
I can see this I think there's going to be more good out of this than bad, hopefully.
Me too.
Honest, in the future.
Me too.
But it's also, I don't this isn't going to replace my computer.
We got to see how they price it. That's going to be a big variable. It's how they price this, because if it's like you have to pay for the game and the service, then it's like you are paying for a game that you definitely aren't going to be able to play in the future.
But at the same time,
I think the game library as well.
The game library, but at the same time, as someone who has basically unlimited data and good internet, because that's my life, that's literally how I make money, dude, if I'm totally into this, if this means that I have my hour commute on the bus to work some days, I can sit there with my phone and play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, which would be so sick, dude. Or
that would be a lot better and worth it to me than I'm playing Crossy Road.
I wonder if this would be able to run pretty well on that next 5G platform too.
That's what a lot of people are saying, is that the 5G would be
package this with like the
would
5G.
definitely be more viable for this service.
Because then you
It
can
would
play
be,
anywhere with a cell phone service.
Yeah, and it will be, but it's also we'll see when 5G ever actually happens.
Yeah.
Because everything that's coming out 5G right now is not actually 5G. Please stop doing this, cell phone
I
company.
know.
Fuck you. But also, don't necessarily. Not, I think you could probably get away with a lot more with 4G than people are thinking. It really does come to
Yeah.
how good they program this.
I mean, you can
Because
pretty
you
much
get
stream 1080p video perfectly fine on
You can stream
LTE.
4K on LTE. You can stream whatever
It gets a
you
little
want.
it gets a little
Stream
dicey
4K.
there.
You can because you live in a city where you have 80,000 people trying to do it all at the same time.
It's still a
No,
little
it's like
dicey.
normal 4K. You can still hit 50 megabyte down like easy if you're not in a major metropolitan area. Like if they package it right, no, it'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, but then again, you're relying on like that constant. Any sort of drops are gonna be super noticeable. You know what I mean? Like it's
True.
not like a video where it just loads once and then you just have to watch it. It's like it has to constantly feed that video.
Yeah, that is true. So no, 5G definitely will help it. I'm just saying they're not going to launch this. They're launching this year. 5G is not going to be out by the end of the year.
Oh no,
And
no,
the
no.
way that
But I am
you
curious to know
want
like how 5G is kind of gonna work with this, and because that would be pretty fucking cool.
Just-
Like you said, like on the
it
commute.
just be faster. Yeah, like that's all 5G is it's just faster.
Yeah.
Instead of 100 megabyte cap, it's 1,000. That's the only difference of true 5G.
Yeah, but it's also more stable. It's a more
No, it's not.
stable. Oh, it's
It's
not.
actually less stable. It's
Oh, it
actually
is?
has a much shorter range than 4G does. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why it's going to take so long for 5G is the actual bandwidth it uses. It can be more stable if you're in the.
I mean, if you have
Like
5G, is it more
airwave?
stable or is it less stable?
It really depends on what's giving the 5G, because like radio wavelength wise, 5G is a much smaller signal, and like lengthwise, how far it can reach than 4G is. Like noticeably.
Yeah.
So like for every one 4G tower you're gonna need two 5Gs or more basically. And that's what's gonna bring it being more stable than just 5G making it more stable.
Right, right. Well, that's what I'm saying is like if you have 5G in your area and you can use it, I wonder if it's going to be like, a more stable platform. That's
And
essentially
it
what
might-
you
it
want.
might
You don't
not-
really need the speed. You kind of want it to just be consistent so you're not getting jitters all the time.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of work on their side, but also telecom sides basically.
Yeah, good luck
And
trusting
all of
them.
this is just like, hey, let's move to Korea.
I mean, okay, let's do it.
They're the only people
I'd much
who are
rather
doing
have
it.
fucking cooler internet than anything in this country's offering. All right.
Just have people playing 24 hours in those cafes and
Dying.
dying. Yeah.
Dude, you know what?
Now
I'll
you can
live
die
with it.
anywhere in the
Video
world.
game addiction in Korea, man.
Now you can die
Five
anywhere in the world playing games.
at 1,000 you can have like 10 gig internet at like a 5 megasecond or less ping. I will gladly die for that. Okay.
Me too, actually. All right, so Crytek released this awesome tech series
looks pretty cool.
of their new engine, which is basically like their Cry engine, whatever number they're on now, and then they're essentially running real-time ray tracing without RTX and without real-time ray tracing. It's all just done in engine.
No, it has without the ray tracing cores, because that's the biggest problem with RTX is NVIDIA's trying to brand ray tracing.
Yeah, they're not used. It's all done in their engine. You don't need ray.
There's
It
no-
could be any
it is a physical
GPU.
hardware core that's
Right.
accelerated.
This is all just done by their mathematics and their computations in engine, and it's
sick.
it's really impressive how they were able to
It's-
do this.
Now, don't get me wrong; it's not as good as what RTX looks like so far. Like it doesn't look near as good as
Like I
if
wonder
you
if
had
it's
an actual
actual like an actual sort of ray tracing, or if it's some sort of like ray tracing impression.
I think it's a little bit of both, because like there are moments where it's ray traced, like especially when it's puddles. It's just not going to be as full on as like you have dedicated hardware for it. But the important side is you can get you can get it to look really good, and you still get most of what you want out of like NVIDIA RTX ray tracing. You still can get a good amount of that,
Yeah.
but on performance that people actually own.
Now in
Like
this scene here,
scenes a Vega 56.
yeah.
It's a $280 graphics card now.
In this scene here, you can see there's a reflection in the window of the pharmacy, but there's no pharmacy in the scene. And essentially that's what ray tracing is doing. It's rendering the entire scene and kind of giving you like a camera's eye view. And they were able to do that without any sort of RTX hardware involved. It's all done just through their system, through their engine and math. And it looks fucking awesome, man. And that's all that that's all ray tracing really is. Now NVIDIA does have, some other stuff that they're doing. It's all done like it would like a fucking CGI would do, where they actually have to render the ray trace and then patch the frames together. But they don't need that. They're able to kind of mimic that perfectly with their own engine, and that's really impressive. Shout out to fucking Crytek. They've always been really impressive with their engines. Who actually uses their engines other than them? What other games are on the Cry
Do you
engine?
remember when Crisis was a meme?
Can it
Yeah.
run?
Crisis at Max
No, this is why.
This is why.
Crysis was a meme for a reason too, though. Because like,
Yeah,
do you have a computer that can run Crysis? Real talk.
I don't think
Mine
anyone
doesn't.
does still. I don't know if any of us can still.
Not until after Crisis 3 was out.
Yeah, but I had to wait till
Yeah.
Crisis 2 to go buy Crisis 1.
It took forever to have a.
I'm gonna figure out. All right, so Crisis. There's really not many games running on CryEngine. Rise, Son of
No, but
Rome, Crisis,
I
Crisis 3,
want to see a lot
Warface,
more.
Sniper, Ghost Warrior, Far Cry. The first Far Cry was on
Far Cry.
CryEngine. Mech Warrior, Homefront, Far Cry Instincts, Far Cry Vengeance, Star Citizen, and that's pretty much it. It looks like.
You mentioned Homefront. What a disappointing game that was.
Hey, I know someone that worked on that game. All right,
I played that game. It was disappointing.
It was amazing. If you're listening, it was the best game I've ever played.
Game was a disappointment.
Who was the
Concept's really
is
good.
that Take-Two that the developer on that?
Don't even remember.
He lived in Canada at the time.
But
when he was
the
working on that.
thing, this is why I wasn't going out to buy an RTX card.
Oh,
This is
also
just-
Kingdom Come Deliverance is on CryEngine.
True,
Okay.
and I am excited for that. If this gets bumped up to that, oh baby, or they're whatever they work on.
Like
next.
actually see like other enemies in the guy's armor and shit.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Also, the other thing is now, of course, I just want Cyberpunk to be using the CryEngine, but
you
that's
know,
another story.
you know they're making their own fucking crazy ass.
No, and I think they are, and this is just more proof that you can do really good software work.
Yeah.
And that's why I wasn't going to buy the RTX cards, because it's like, oh look, this looks almost as good as Battlefield. Like, it's not as good as what I think RTX can pull off, but it's by far good enough and it looks amazing. And you're like, oh yeah, I could probably run this on a $200 graphics card, not a $1,200 graphics card that had minor performance upgrades.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
I'm
awesome.
really excited for this to push into more engines and see more things like this. 'Cause
Crytek says its upcoming tech will be optimized to benefit from performance enhancements delivered by graphics cards like the RTX Ti or the RTX and Radeon 7, and is supported by graphic APIs like Vulkan and DirectX 12. So they're also going to allow, they're probably going to say, here, let's implement some RTX cores and make this even better.
no license fees, 5% royalties.
Yeah.
It's not the worst deal.
And CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 is using the Red Engine 4 game engine, which is an engine that I think is also used in Anthem. It seems like, let me see. It's developed by CD Projekt Red, so it's their own Red Engine. Yeah, it's their own engine.
I mean, the red didn't give it away.
I didn't realize that until I said it. But it was the same engine from Witcher 3, which is all good with me, buddy.
But yeah, that like seeing more things like this is what I'm hoping for more so, where it's just like, yeah, right now you don't just go buy a 2060 or a Vega 56 or 64. Like if you're buying more than that, you better have a very specific use in mind for it, I think.
All right. Cuphead's coming to Switch. Resolution and frame rate revealed. 60 frames, 720 in portable mode, 1080 docked. Identical output as Xbox One version. 2-player in portable mode on one screen with Joy-Con. And runs similar to other versions. Team did heavy retooling to get it done on Switch properly. It's an in-house port, which is dope. That's awesome. When is it being revealed or released?
April 18th.
Ah, quite soon.
Yeah,
Quite
I'm excited.
soon.
I am double dipping. I bought it on PC. I will definitely be buying it on Switch.
Well, now I can finally play it.
So back in February, when it was announced that the Game Pass was like coming to Switch, I made a comment that like Cuphead and Ori could possibly make their way to Switch, and I was met with a lot of people going, "No, that's not happening. Xbox is keeping those as exclusives." I'm gonna be a smug asshole.
I think I remember you saying that Cuphead was gonna stay on Xbox. I remember you saying that.
Honestly, for a long time, I thought it was. But when they announced Game Pass and like this whole relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo started happening, it just makes sense because like Nintendo's going to make some money off of this, but a lot of the proceeds, like I mean, Microsoft's getting a cut of the deal.
Oh yeah,
and I guarantee you, this game's probably going to sell better on Switch than it did on PC or Xbox.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't buy it on.
Say no to that. They're going to take that money.
I didn't buy it on those platforms, and I'll definitely get it on Switch. It's a Switch.
It's such a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you remember playing those old Contra games? That was all on the NES, Super NES. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna play it handheld.
For it.
Yeah. I don't need my 4K HDR Samsung playing Cuphead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they kicked off today's Indie Direct with this, and that like was really exciting.
And the next one is Crypt of the Necro Dancer. Follow-up stars Link and Zelda titled Cadence of Hyrule,
which is interesting. Like, we're at a point now where Nintendo's not shy about letting even indie developers mess around with their IP. Like, I would argue that after Mario, Zelda is the number one IP for Nintendo. And they're giving this to the Crypt of the Necrodancer, which means, I know you've not played it. No. It's like a rhythm action adventure kind of game.
Yeah.
Where there's always music playing, and every time you hear the drum is a chance for you to move or attack. So it's very rhythm heavy. And for I guess Nintendo really liked the people who made that they're letting them take the Zelda IP and do this.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder, like, maybe they give the F-Zero IP to somebody. Maybe they give the Metroid IP to somebody to make something unique that isn't what you would normally see from that IP.
You know what I don't like about this, though? It sounds like you have to play it with the sound on. Sometimes I don't like to do that. Most of the time, actually.
Don't like to play games with the sound on?
Mm-mm. Nope.
That's interesting.
Sometimes I'm listening to Joe Rogan just ripping on some some Zelda.
Yeah, most games I don't leave the sound on.
Actually, I would say 90% of my gaming is done with the sound off.
I mean, it depends. Like, if I'm playing Apex, I need the sound on.
Yeah, last night it fucking didn't matter. We sucked anyway.
We did really badly last night.
But I also that was watching Walking Dead and fucking trying to play Apex. It didn't work out so well.
I think there's also a difference too. Is a lot of games, if I do leave sound down, I'll turn music off.
I'm also a big fan of really good OSTs in video games. Like Cuphead's soundtrack is amazing. As I am known to say, it's got a bunch of bangers on it.
Yeah.
But I love
oh, that's a sure hot banger we got going on.
You'll see when you play.
I know, I can't wait. No, but yeah, I mean, I would like. I mean, this seems like you can only play it with the sound on, so it might not be a game for me.
It's gonna be hard to play without the sound on.
But it's not a game for me. You know, some games you just can't play. This is one of them.
I mean, just for me, it's the fact that like Nintendo is letting their IPs out like this. Like, what are we gonna?
I mean, I don't know if they just let them have it. They probably, I don't know.
Oh, I guarantee you they would definitely oversaw a lot of it to make sure that they were getting things correct.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a
But I mean,
You
pretty
would hope
extensive
nowadays.
process.
Yeah, you
but
would
that's the
hope.
thing is like, could we see the guys who made Fast RMX Racing get Wave Racer?
I mean,
we
could
see
they give
that
the arms?
Zero?
Can they give the arms IP over to like the Tekken guys or?
Bandai Namco.
You would hope, but like the problem I have too with
I
like
don't think you're seeing an Arms 2, by the way. I think it's a
No.
dead IP.
no, okay, for example, the Cadence of Hyrule, just the way that looks is just eerily similar to all of those trash fucking games from the 90s and 2000s that were licensed out.
Like the one that was like the cartoon Link on the PC.
Like those ones, but there was a bunch of them. So while we're saying we hope Nintendo is licensing to proper people, they've gotten better at it, but they don't have like a long history of
to
being
be
good at
fair,
that.
True.
the Minish Cap that was on Game Boy Advance, which is actually like a super underrated game, was done by Capcom.
Okay, yeah, that's not really like an indie.
Studio, not an indie studio.
Yeah.
But it wasn't first party.
Well, let's hope that the cadence of
just like-
Necro
yeah.
Dancers are good.
I mean,
I'm definitely
if it's
checking
by
it out.
the
I'm definitely checking
by
it
the
out.
real team, like Crypto the Necro Dancer still to this day has a huge cult following.
Really?
Like, there's one kid at my coffee shop who like he seriously brings his laptop and like if he finishes his work, he just sits there and plays Crypto the Necro Dancer.
Really?
It has a
Yeah.
very hardcore fan base.
I've literally never heard of this fucking game.
And the
dancing
fact
game.
that they're adding Zelda to it now is going to get a lot of people who've never played Crypto Necro Dancer but love Zelda. This is something that they're going to be like, oh, this will tie me over until the new Link's Awakening comes out, like in December probably.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that. I had never heard this game in my life.
Mhm.
But
There's a
interesting.
bunch of those games that like I feel like a lot of people either extremely love or never heard of, like Enter the Gungeon.
Total War.
Has a huge fan base, but there's a lot of casual gamers never.
Yeah,
even-
especially a lot of roguelikes like that, things like that.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
like,
Dead Cells community's huge too.
Dead Cells is probably
Fighting
one of the
game
most
community.
successful ones. Yeah.
like a lot of things like that, like that are people are aware those games exist, but they don't realize like no, there's still like millions of people playing those games every day.
Dude, Rogue Legacy is still a great game to this day.
That's what you want too when you're an indie. You want that hardcore fan base that's
Yeah.
gonna buy it and buy your merch, and that's how you're gonna make all your money, you know. And they're gonna buy your second too, and they're gonna promote your game for you.
And
That's
now
like a
you
dream.
add Zelda to it, which is just going to boost the people who are going to want to play it because it's Zelda.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it does it good because I don't want people to play it thinking they're gonna play Zelda and they get some fucking funky ass dance game. You know what I mean? Like you can only
Look at
move with
you,
fucking
Pokemon, let's go.
I mean, they are hiding it. It's Cadence of Hyrule, parentheses, Crypt of the Necro Dancer.
Featuring the Legend of Zelda.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
That's actually my biggest problem with it is featuring the Legend of Zelda. Like
Like, you didn't know that from the title Cadence of Hyrule?
well, some people might not, but it's more just the like, no, you could have just featuring Link, featuring Zelda, featuring like a character. Nope, it's
Well, it's featuring both
the
of them.
Legend of Zelda.
It is, you can play as Zelda, which is outside of
Yeah, but
Smash
you
Bros.
can't
But I
play
don't wanna
as the Legend of
Yeah,
Zelda.
I don't want to play as Zelda. I want to play as the Legend of Zelda.
That's grammatically
just-
incorrect.
It's just an NES cart of the original Legend of Zelda. And you play as the cart.
And you're fucking dancing around.
Oh, man.
All right, new Octopath Traveler game for Switch is in development. I still have to get this, dude. I still have to get this.
Yeah, so they had that announcement that they're working
gotta
on that
wait.
mobile title for iOS and Android. And a lot of people were kind of freaking out, like, oh, what's this mean for the future of Octopath?
Yes, dude.
And they came out and they're like, nah, don't worry. We are currently working on a new Octopath game, which is no surprise because it did really well critically. And for a small RPG on the Switch, did really well.
It's a
Yeah, I mean, it's done so well that people are enticing me to
And-
get it.
I mean, when they followed up, I didn't play the Bravely Default series, but that's another fan base that like
Real quick, my dog
Really
shit
love
like
that game.
7 times today. He's shitting again. I don't know why he's shitting so much. All right, go ahead.
good job, River.
Good job, River. No, like I mean, that's another fan base, the Bravely Default series. of like a hardcore fan base, the people who do like that game series.
Yeah.
So I mean, and from what I've heard, Bravely Default 2 was like better than the first one. So if they can follow up Octopath 2, maybe make some tweaks to it, maybe not be maybe a more coherent story that brings the party together. You know, do some stuff that they should have done the first time, but make it better. I'm down. I mean, give me more RPGs, man.
Maybe make it so like all the stories come together.
That's what I'm saying, and not just for like a hidden final boss.
Yeah. All right. Oddworld Soulstorm gets cinematic teaser. Oddworld's so cool.
Did you play Abe's Odyssey in those games?
Oh yeah, I was like addicted to that when I was younger, man.
So this is a direct sequel to Abe's Odyssey, mostly because they just released like the remake or like the remaster.
I have to get the remaster as I don't really remember the story too much because there's no like dialogue.
No,
essentially what it is
super fucked up and awesome.
Yeah, it was so weird and just odd.
You freed the slaves and revolted against your corporate overlord.
Yeah, but you're like a green blob. Who cares?
You just want to figure the puzzles out.
Yeah, this game apparently follows up right where it leaves off. You're on the train in the desert with your freed like brethren, and then a bunch of crazy shit happens. And I'm totally in because I loved the Oddworld series.
Yeah.
No, I would probably go buy this. Yeah.
What are you? Are you an alien? Is that who you are?
I mean, they're all aliens.
He's like a frog-looking dude, isn't he?
Yeah, you're just like a weird green frog blob dude. It's every Alex Jones nightmare.
That's what you turn into. That's what the water's turning the frogs into.
Right? Yeah. The frogs are rising up against their corporate overlords.
The final boss is Hillary Clinton in this game.
Oh god.
All right. Nintendo is getting into the phone business. The last gaming story.
It's just a rumor. But they might be.
Well, all right. Who's saying this? Digitime rumors over the years have been interesting, and a lot of them haven't amounted to anything. But sometimes they do get spot on. This time, the technology site is reporting that they have heard rumors that Nintendo is planning to once again develop a smartphone. Once again, they did this before.
Apparently, this is a rumor that keeps popping up, and I find it funny because
this is the second time they're hearing this rumor. Okay.
Yeah. So like. Imagine a world in which Google is making games and Nintendo is making phones.
Nintendo's making fucking phones.
What is 2019 right now?
They state that they heard the gaming-themed handset will be able to integrate with the Nintendo Switch. Remember, this is a rumor, so only time will tell if this is correct. Despite the fact that gaming handsets are a niche market segment, other players including Xiaomi, Vivo, Nintendo, and Nubia are either strengthening their presence in the market or planning to enter it, said the sources. There have been speculations about Nintendo planning to launch a gaming handset that can integrate with its Switch consoles. The Japan-based vendor has yet to respond to such speculations.
The mobile app is trash. Why make a mobile phone?
Yeah, like what? I'm more like, why? The only way this makes sense to me is if you just take the Switch and then put a phone app on it.
Yeah,
put a phone on it.
Like that seems better to me.
Just put an Android fucking skin in there and you're good.
Yeah. Then we're now gonna take a phone and let it talk to your Switch, which is already just barely bigger.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
Has a gaming-focused phone ever worked? Like, do you remember the N-Gage?
Yes.
Remember the Nokia N-Gage? That thing was a bomb. It was trash.
Supposedly they're popular now. I mean, Asus released one, and then Razer has their kind of like gaming phone.
And then Huawei's got a bunch.
Yeah, but that's
they do have a niche market.
That's very niche.
It's called China. China loves that shit.
It's about as niche as every other niche market we talked about, though. At the same time today.
Yeah.
In China, it's definitely a bigger business.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even here to an extent, like there still is a sizable niche of like people who still want their like old school gadget gear, whatever. You know,
gotta get the two-way.
Like they just want that to be their phone.
I mean, I'm interested to see it. A Nintendo phone could be cool.
I do gotta give credit to the dude who Giuseppe Avazanto. I don't know. He has some concept rendering bullshit, I guess, that's in the comments.
Can they just call it the Mario phone?
Like if you go into the comment section of that news rumor. Like someone does have a cool concept idea of it.
Oh, I see it here. Oh,
Like that's actually a
it's like a
kind of cool
sidekick.
concept. Yeah, like just make it a really cool sidekick. I could get down with that, but instead of a keyboard, it's just controls.
I could be interested.
That's like
in
what I
something like
want
that.
out of a DS.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want the new DS to be, basically.
I mean, we already have phones though. You know.
Yeah.
Just give me a controller that I can use with it and get some like real games, please.
Honestly,
You don't have to
Nintendo
make a
really
phone.
wants- screw the idea of making a phone. Just make Joy-Cons that will attach to any normal phone.
Exactly. And then games that you can actually play that don't freaking time gate you and freaking ask for free money and shit like that. then you'll make money. It just seems like they're all going backwards about mobile gaming.
An iPhone and Samsung case that has Joy-Cons on the side, and then you have a subset, like you can just get the emulators or the software or whatever and pay for it.
Yeah, and it's already, you know, it's
That
already
makes-
powerful enough to run any game that Nintendo wants you to run.
That makes way more sense to me than nope. Now we're gonna also design a phone because that has never worked out for anyone.
I'm gonna put this at a 2 out of 10 on the rumor scale, if I believe it.
Well, it says here in the other source, it says Razer is likely to launch their third edition of its gaming handset, dubbed Razer 3 in 2019, despite reports indicating that it has reduced the number of its Razer team members by 32%, as it moves to enhance the competitiveness of its gaming handset business. So it seems like it is a somewhat of a market that is attracting some people, which kind of makes sense.
I mean, I think it is still bigger in Asia. Like,
yeah, they like
yeah,
those
I'll
like
say if
MOBA
they make-
games on their
if they-
phone. They're popular.
they-
Xiaomi and Huawei like kill it with those stupid phones.
Yeah.
If Nintendo does get into the phone market, like actually releases something,
Would you buy one, Doobie?
I don't think it would come to the States. I think it would be mostly just like an Asia exclusive kind of thing.
Did you buy one?
No.
Well, you say
I don't
that
need to buy a
now.
new phone.
You say that now.
Got my Note 8.
But would
And then
you
there's a
buy
little Mario
Joy-Cons
dancing on the
that could
screen.
attach to your Note?
Yes, everyone would.
Give me a thing I can slide Joy-Cons into my Note, though. I will take that.
Yeah,
but
everyone would want that.
That's
That
the
would be
smart
dope.
move.
Chassis that you could put your phone into, like a case.
Yeah, and then you just have Joy-Cons on the side.
Well, they already have that. It's just that we don't have any games to play on it. There's
then just
there's
connect
none.
it
I've
to the
looked. Trust me,
Bluetooth.
I've looked. There's a couple MOBAs that are kind of fun, and then there's just all free to play
I
trash.
just-
Now you have
Upload emulators.
Stadia to play with your Joy-Cons on your phone.
Future of gaming is weird. All right, let's get into some tech. It's not too much. Google is scaling back their laptop tablet teams, so it looks like
Not surprised.
they're
Kinda
allowing their
sucks.
Google Chromebook tablet market.
Nah, I think they're just having less people work on it and trying to not compete in it. Because let's be real, it's not good. Well, no, it's not that it's not good. It's just no one's gonna go buy a Pixel Book or the Slate unless they're me. Like,
I would, dude. I certainly would.
no, I'd consider the Pixel Book. I still love the design of the Pixel Book, but I think they're going to scale it back to what the Pixel program originally was, which was, oh yeah, we're making hardware for our company and we'll sell a couple on the side instead of like trying to push into it like they did with phones.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see.
The original
We'll
Chromebook
see.
Pixels were basically just like, yeah, we made these for our employees.
I mean, if they're scaling their team down, maybe it's just like they're gonna release something soon, and then they're just gonna hold off on that for a couple years, and then maybe revive it later. But it's like it's so hard with Google because they're constantly shutting shit down, opening new shit up. You know, that's what's kind of fun about Google. That's what I do like about them. They are an interesting company to watch. But God, if you're an investor, it's probably a nightmare dealing with all these new markets that they're entering and then leaving.
Yeah,
crazy.
but at the same time, doesn't matter because like Google's stock's always pretty much going up.
Yeah, but steadily, you kind of would like to know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, I agree, you do, but I'm less, if I'm like investing into Google stocks, I'm less worried about.
What
Oh,
is
they're
their,
gonna
what
make.
is their stock at? I don't even know.
I'd be less worried about. Oh, they're not gonna keep making a Chromebook, than like what's going on in the EU with Android. Like I wouldn't worry as much when it's like, oh yeah, they have Android and they have their fucking Google.
Mm-hmm. So they're nearing their all-time high. They're about $1,200 a share right now. Their all-time high being 1252. It looks like. So they're back on the rise. It looks like the introduction of their. It looks like them scaling this back because that's kind of when they started to go back up, and then them also entering this like Stadia market seems to get the interest of the investors, and people are starting to buy
I was
in.
just gonna say, Google or Alphabet.
Google or Alphabet. I'm sorry, Alphabet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alphabet.
That's where it would get harder. Is like I don't know if you can still buy just Google stocks or if they all transferred to Alphabet.
No,
stocks.
I think it's all Alphabet.
Yeah, I think it transferred all to Alphabet. Where it's like I'd put more money into Google than I would into Alphabet.
Yeah,
because Alphabet's going to be doing all the weird stuff that they're doing.
Yeah, and then Amazon's also going. It seems like a lot of the markets are doing pretty well recently. The last few days, it's pretty good. Bear season. All right, then there's this new. All right, so this is an interesting story. I want to know your take on this because a lot of people are quite upset. So the UFC marked a new deal with ESPN Plus, which is a streaming service that you have to pay for. So in order to watch like the new pay-per-views, you need to have ESPN Plus. It's part of their deal. So you have to pay for ESPN Plus and then pay for the pay-per-view when it comes out. Now,
if you have to pay for both,
yeah,
is it still the same price for pay-per-view?
I think so. But what they're saying is that because of their joint deal with ESPN, which is also underneath Disney, they don't have to worry about selling pay-per-views. So they don't have to make those crazy sort of money fights anymore. They can actually focus on like putting together good fights with good fighters because ESPN's already purchased all the pay-per-views. Like they gave them the money for the pay-per-views. So now it's up to the UFC to reach those standards again and make those sales and try to get more people to buy into this ESPN service. So it kind of is cool because now they're going to focus on like doing all the cool behind the scenes with the fighters, getting into like, you know, the documentary stuff like 30 for 30, but like with UFC involved. And they just have the whole backing of ESPN, which I love. I watch ESPN all the fucking time. It's one of my favorite programs to watch. And I was a little bit weary at first of this because it's like you have to buy the pay-per-view and this ESPN Plus service. But it kind of does make sense because before they had to really sell, they were really beholden to how they could sell those pay-per-view packages. So they need to make crazy, stupid fights that were just like CM Punk, for instance. You know what I mean? They need to get those sales up to get these other pay-per-view companies like DirecTV was one of the buyers. There's another one that was like Indirect was one of the pay-per-view holders. And it was a really volatile situation between them and the UFC. So ESPN said, we'll deal with all that. We'll buy all your pay-per-view stuff. You just have to push all of your customer base over to our platform. And a lot of the community is upset because they're like, fuck, now I have to buy this another stupid subscription service and then buy the pay-per-views on top of that. But I think in the long run, it will be worth it. Then again, I'm a diehard UFC fan and a diehard just ESPN fan. I'm kind of in the niche here. So I'm kind of interested to know if you would get something like that. Well, they have like a hockey thing going on.
So that would be cool. But the problem with ESPN Plus is you can't watch ESPN on ESPN Plus unless you also have a cable package.
Right. I think that's changing, though.
I would hope.
I think that's changing. I think basically any live sport that, MLB, MLS, Series A, FA Cup, EFL, and NHL, any of those live games that would be on ESPN are also going to be live streamed on ESPN Plus. So you don't have to worry about that. There's also
ESPN doesn't give a shit about hockey. Quit kidding yourself.
I don't really watch. I know, like, what is it on TNT or some shit?
There's a reason why it's on NBC. There's a reason why it's on ESPN Plus and not on ESPN.
Yeah. Oh, they never showed any on ESPN?
Like they did for a while, but they don't care.
I mean, I think they seems like they would if the NHL's freaking, buying into them. You're gonna get what they were trying to explain, and I don't know how true this is basically they're trying to get more of these big sports conglomerates to come to ESPN Plus so that they can purchase the platform and also like make content to entice those fans. So you might get behind the scenes of like NHL stuff, you might get the documentary stuff, you'll get all of the archival stuff if you watch old sports and stuff like that, which could be pretty cool. There's a lot of soccer, like international soccer, that I'm not really interested in. Tennis, if you're into that. It's not like NFL. You're not getting an NBA package. NBA League Pass is like $50 a month, which is worth it if you like NBA, but it's this is it, dude. This is how it's gonna be. It's all streaming. It's another streaming platform that you would have to buy. So I don't know. Like, are you a big enough UFC fan? Like, if Conor was fighting, I don't know, let's say Nate Diaz again, for another trilogy fight, would you buy ESPN Plus to buy the pay-per-view to see that, or would you just be like, I'll just illegally stream it, or I just don't care enough? So I think most of the people would be in that market where they're just like, I'm not gonna buy this package just to, And then they were also saying they could bundle deals with the pay-per-view, so you could buy the pay-per-view and you would get ESPN Plus for like a few months or maybe a year, or you would buy a pay-per-view and ESPN Plus and whatever else they were doing with sales at the time, which is something that they couldn't do before. They weren't allowed to package pay-per-views before. It's all very convoluted, and there's not a lot of answers right now. We're kind of just taking the word of ESPN and Dana White on this, but it could be good in the long run, and I am curious because I'm probably gonna get ESPN Plus and then downgrade my TV service, which I just switched over from DirecTV to Sling, and I'll probably downgrade that so I can remove the sports package and then just have the ESPN Plus with the Sling basic package. I think that's what I'm going to do, which ends up being pretty cheap. But it's just kind of confusing because I don't even know what's what. All right, moving on. DirecTV. All right, have you seen this? So I was watching my Teen Mom. It's one of my favorite guilty pleasures.
Yeah, it is.
And I was watching it on my DirecTV Now, which is DirecTV's streaming platform. And a little pop-up on the bottom said, hey, DirecTV is extorting us. It's just literally on the TV. It's if you want to keep MTV, any Viacom channels, MTV, Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., VH1, BET, a bunch of other channels, well, then you need to call DirecTV and AT&T right now and tell them to lower your bills and to keep Viacom. And they sent you to this website, keepviacom.com. And then they wrote on their Twitter this message. Viacom is the number one cable family serving key customers and communities on AT&T and DirecTV services. We want to give more access to audience favorites and enable AT&T DirecTV to lower customer bills. Click for a full statement. And then it basically says that AT&T is abusing its new market position by favoring its own content, which significantly underperforms Viacom's, to stifle competition. AT&T DirecTV's behavior is also consistent with the recent pattern of gouging their customers by charging them higher prices for an inferior product with fewer channels, which is true because my DirecTV Now package was raised $10 last week. So it was one of the reasons why I got rid of it. Viacom is committed to developing strong relationships, blah, 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 blah. So I thought that was super interesting. Looks like there's another AT&T DirecTV sort of bullshit going on. And then if we look here, HBO chief Richard Plepler is leaving HBO because of the whole AT&T restructuring. This is from The Verge. He's stepping down after 27 years and held the role as CEO since 2013. Is stepping down amid a broader restructuring at parent company AT&T. Plepler, who started at Time Warner in 1992, is a notable industry figure who's had his hand in HBO's biggest successes. Apparently, HBO is not changing fast enough. The shakeup is reportedly part of a new strategy from Warner Media, the group that owns HBO and was a major part of the assets AT&T acquired in its merger with Time Warner last year, which the Justice Department just earlier this week failed to reverse on appeal. So he's basically, because of all this restructuring, what AT&T and DirecTV are doing, the head of HBO, I mean, for decades now, stepped down. And this seems like it's very anti-consumer. I mean, the fact that they charge $10 out of nowhere for no reason, they charge $10 to lose channels, essentially, is just insane. And DirecTV's now streaming service is terrible. I don't even know what AT&T's like cell service is like. I don't know what DirecTV, just regular DirecTV is like, but their streaming service was not that good. It was the only one that had Viacom channels other than Sling. So it was the reason why I went with it other than YouTube TV. Because come on, YouTube TV. I would love to switch to you. You just don't have any fucking good channels. All right. So there's a lot of fucking shit going on in the world of cable cutting. And it just makes it all so confusing.
So AT&T is doing a lot of shitty things that AT&T does after they don't have a regulatory leash on them anymore.
Yes.
Surprising.
Yep. And everyone is kind of like, hopefully this means a lot of people will leave DirecTV. Hopefully this means a lot of people will leave AT&T. I don't know exactly how this is going to work. I don't know what other deals AT&T is making. But just in terms of like the cable streaming platform is concerned, it just sucks because if you want any sort of Viacom channels, then you have to get Sling. There's no one else that offers it. Or you have to get basic cable. Like you have to get a cable package, which I'm not doing anymore. And if you want like, on demand, Sling doesn't offer DVR. It has kind of like a shitty UI. It's just so fucking dumb. Like this is the kind of stuff that consumers get fucked over for, I was surprised to see that they were going to charge an extra $10 for no fucking reason. I couldn't believe that they were doing that. They just said, hey, we need $10 more.
Infrastructure costs.
Overhead. All right.
That's why we stopped putting cables in the ground too, is because of
infrastructure. They need more money for satellite.
And that's why that was literally the biggest reasoning Ajit had for canceling the internet, basically. Was AT&T is not nearly investing as much money as they had been before in providing better internet. It must be because of this regulation, not because it's AT&T and they're just shit.
Yeah, they're just gouging. They're just price gouging. These cable companies are gonna fucking give me an aneurysm. Comcast is another. It's like they're all terrible, man. They're all terrible.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some of this Apple stuff and then we'll get out of here.
Move to Korea, boys.
Let's do it, dude. Just listen to some K-pop and just fucking do it. Apple is jumping into streaming video with a huge library of shows and films. Now, I want to know, are you interested in what Apple is going to reveal soon at their WWDC with their streaming platform?
For streaming, probably not.
Because for one...
You already know it's just going to be G-rated bullshit.
Exactly. What is wrong with them? Are they dumb? Like, they're getting HBO and some other shit, but...
Now, if they get this HBO guy and give him full reign, I could get excited. Yeah, like, go and find the new Game of Thrones and put it on Apple.
They're doing some HBO, Showtime, Stars shit. Like, they're getting those kind of deals going. But, in terms of, like, their native streaming stuff, it's all G-rated dumb shit. Like, who gives a shit about that stuff? Why? Why would they limit themselves to that? It is beyond me. It's beyond me. It's a complete wrong move. I mean, I just watched Death, Love, and Robots on Netflix. Have you seen that yet? After the show, put it on,
but I've heard a lot of good things.
It's so fucking sick. It's like Animatrix, but modern day Animatrix. And it's really graphic. It's really dark. Tons of sex, drugs, nudity, robots, and monsters. It's really cool. It's like Black Mirror meets Animatrix. That's kind of exactly what it is. But and that's the kind of stuff that's like gets people hype. You know what I mean? That's what like brings people to your platform. That's why I love Netflix. It's one of my favorite companies, is because they know what consumers want and they pay shitloads of money to give consumers more of what they want. And I don't mind when Netflix raises their prices. You know what I mean? Netflix has raised their prices, 3 times already? And I go, I'm just going to keep it anyway because I fucking love watching Netflix. Content. They have the content and they're going to keep giving you good content. And they know what they're doing. They know what their mission statement is. They're not like fucking around. The platform is great. They'll add you the Dolby Vision, the HDR support as soon as it comes out. That's what we want. It's really not that difficult. So Apple comes along and they kind of want a piece of the pie, and then they go, we're going to not give you what you want. You're probably not going to get any, like,
You'll get a knockoff version of Peanuts related around STEM.
Oh, really?
Riveting, right?
Wow, I can't wait to tune in, dude. You're getting a G-rated, you're getting a new series from the guys of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but it's going to be nice and G-rated for you. That's going to be real good TV, man. Like, come on. We'll see, though.
Oh, a half-hour comedy show about poet Emily Dickinson.
Oh, fascinating. Are they going to charge money for this? They better not. They can't. They can't. This seems like PBS, like they're trying to get to like PBS market. You know what I mean?
Also, I love that like half of the shows in this entire article are like, well, they were going to do this, but the people left because of the restrictions.
Yeah, you can't do that. Come on.
The morning show drama with Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell is probably going to be like the only thing remotely worth watching.
Yeah, and it'll be like, you tune in the morning and then you watch 10 minutes of Steve Carell be funny and that's it. I mean, I was hoping that we would get, something more like documentary style stuff. Like that would be cool.
There's one. It's a series based on Kevin Durant.
I mean, that is kind of dumb, but at least there's something that's I don't know. We're gonna have
actually
to
listed
see.
in drama. It's not even a documentary.
Oh, it's fake. It's fake news. All right. Well, I'm not too interested in this yet. They haven't brought me over.
They might have something that's good, and we'll see when it comes out. But like, sure, if I had a kid, I would probably be very interested in this. But me personally, like, I don't need another subscription.
No. I can't imagine them. They're gonna charge for this. I can't. I guess they're gonna. I can't imagine them. I can't imagine them charging for this. I mean, it would be awesome if they did like a PBS NPR sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like where it was like news focused, like documentary focused, like giving you good real stories. Because you can do that in a PG way, and it'll still be informational, educational, and riveting. But if it's like, hey, get out of here. Go, get out of here. If it's like carpool karaoke 2, you know what I mean? Like, if it's like Revenge of the Apps, no one wants to watch that.
But if they could have one or two good shows, and that's really all they need. But it's gonna be a lot harder to convince people that they have one or two good shows unless they have children, basically.
Yeah, like you're still gonna be one or two good shows that are G-rated. Ugh. I don't remember the last time I watched anything G-rated and I thought it was good. Maybe Toy Story 2. All right, but then they someone found a patent, that MacBook. They found an Apple patent where they put key switches underneath a flexible touchscreen keyboard.
Don't.
Which could be kind of interesting. I mean, if you're gonna do an all touchscreen keyboard, I guess give me keys. We'll see how that goes. But here's the big news: they released new AirPods. The new AirPods, 50% more talk time. You get hands-free Siri. There's no new colors. You get the new H1 chip, which is basically a W1 chip just meant for headphones, and you get wireless charging. I'm hype on it, just because my AirPods are a little bit worn. The battery's not as good as they used to be. They kind of got short battery. I would love to have wireless charging on it and a little bit longer talk time. So I'll probably pick these up, give my old ones to Kate.
How long have you had them?
I would say about a year now. Now.
They're already junk in a year.
No, not junk. I get about half
Sorry.
of the listening time that I used to get.
That's
off
my biggest
of them.
problem is
There's some tiny ass batteries, dude.
The W1 is great. That's what I love. I've never been sold on like the AirPods being worth the money.
If you listen to a lot of podcasts, audiobooks, I would say they're definitely worth it. I mean, you see the headphones that I have. I use those 90% of the time.
I'd just use better headphones or different ones that also have a W1 chip. That's what I care about personally.
I think Beats are the only other ones that have that stupid fucking chip in it.
Yeah, that's what I use. Even though they suck.
I don't know if I'm getting Beats. They're a lot more expensive.
You can find some of them way cheaper.
I mean, I'd probably only get the Studios. Those are the only ones that. Have you used a pair of Beats before? Like the ones that go on your ear? They are not comfy, dude. Especially if you have glasses.
Yeah, I just use all like the Beats X type crap.
Oh, the in-ear ones?
Yeah. And like honestly, they sound exactly the same as the AirPods. They cost half the price. You just have to deal with the band.
Yeah. I like the AirPods, man. I love them, actually.
That's fair.
I do love them.
If that's for you, that's for you.
I love these fucking
chip.
stupid things. Yeah, the chip makes it super convenient. It's just convenient. Like I said, for some reason, those are the ones that just are always in my ears, man. So we got a new. I wish they would have released a black one. That would have been nice.
What I think is more important, at least to me, than an AirPods update. Which, sure, it's cool. If you're gonna go buy AirPods, it's cool to have a newer one.
Are you talking about the iMac update?
I am talking about the iMac update.
This is super compelling to me.
Yeah.
This changes the game for me, because it's like you can get a pretty specced out iMac,
but they're also like
for a little bit cheaper than a pretty specced out MacBook Pro, which is a little bit cheaper than a pretty specced out iMac Pro, which are all expensive.
They also updated the iMac Pro too.
Yeah. But
no, the new iMacs, this is what I was kind of waiting for, of like real talk, the $1,400 first model 4K. That is your sweet spot.
Is that what you're looking at?
Well, I think possibly just because that's actually a reasonably priced for what's in a computer. Like that is totally the sweet spot of that's just a good computer.
I mean, that screen alone is gotta be worth like $500. You know what I mean?
Right, and then the actual stuff they put in it, like that's a really good computer.
For $1,500, you would get the 21.5-inch iMac, the 4K display. You would get the 8-core, the 8th generation 6-core i5. You get 8 gigabytes of RAM, which you can get new RAM. You can replace your own RAM and get it way cheaper than Apple's RAM. You get the 560X, which has 4 gigabytes of GDDR5. Then you get a Fusion drive. So if you wanted, say you wanted this SSD, say you go with the 256 gig SSD.
Just get a small SSD. You still have Thunderbolt ports.
That's $1,600, and you have a pretty good PC. And then say you buy memory for that off market, you maybe spend what, $75 for like some like good 16 gig RAM. Then you're around a little under $1,700. That screen alone's worth like $500. I mean, that's a pretty damn good deal. And then if you want the Vega 20, because you're doing video editing, and you're still under $2,000. You know what I mean? You're still under $2,000. That's a pretty damn good deal. That's what makes it really compelling. So they finally bumped this shit up. If you want to go a little bit more powerful, well, considerably more powerful, you go the 27-inch, which is the one I'm looking at. You go the 27-inch with the i9 8-core. You go 32 gigs of RAM. You go Vega 48. You go 1 terabyte. You're spending $4,300, which is about $1,000 less than the iMac Pro, which would essentially only give you the Vega 56 with the Xeon chip. So that's what you would be gaining for $1,000 extra. And honestly, I think this i9 8-core is going to be more powerful in more situations than that Xeon processor, just because it's clocked a lot higher and it's got 8 cores in it. You know what I mean? You could even go the 8 gig option, buy your own RAM.
For Premiere specifically, yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then you can go the 8 gigabyte memory option, buy your own RAM for $150 to get 32 gigs, and you're still under $4,000. So it's not a bad deal. And then you can go down, get the 512 SSD, because you might not even need a terabyte. And then you're at $3,200, $3,250. So that's super compelling. And then you get you're getting that new Vega 48, which has that with 8 gigabytes of HBM2 memory, but it also is that it's the new Vega. It's not even, I don't even think they've released the 48 version yet. So there's a lot of And then you also have the Mac Mini, which is kind of in that realm. There's so
But,
many different sort of Mac
what I was-
options you can kind of
What I would say
buy.
is, fuck the Mac Mini, go buy an iMac. Honestly.
Well, let's see real quick. Let's see, because you could be saving a lot of money.
But are you? Because then you now also have to go buy.
Well, it's a
graphics
8th
card.
gen 6 core. That's the
You
only.
now, well, that too. But now you also have to go buy a graphics card enclosure. Now you also have to go buy.
Right.
You have to buy all of hard drives are soldered. That's it.
Right.
So you have to buy that. You have it's mostly you have
No,
to
you're
go
right.
now buy you have to go buy the iMac screen or a P3 screen, and you have to go buy a graphics card.
You're right. The iMac is the much better option there.
Yeah, like iMac's your sweet spot. That's what I thought was going to happen, and it happened, and I'm happy.
Yeah, it's just a spec bump. Unfortunately, we didn't get smaller bezels.
That's
we didn't
true.
get a new color. We don't get it in the black like the iMac Pro, which would have been so sick.
That would have been sick. I would have liked smaller bezels. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But honestly, like, yeah, about $1,500, I'd buy an iMac any day right now over a Mac Mini.
This is so compelling. Like I kind of want one. I kind of want the 8 core with the 48 in there and then the 1 terabyte. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And then just slam my own memory in there. That 5K screen, have you seen it?
Yeah, it's nice. I work on one.
So good, dude.
Yeah, like that's how I know so much about iMacs. Like I've spent the last year working like 2 days of the week on the newest or a 2018 iMac.
So good.
So that's also why I bitch about the bezel so much.
Yeah. Yeah, we have one upstairs, and I don't mind the bezels too much because that screen is so good. But imagine those bezels weren't there. I mean, it would be literally like 30%.
You can do it on a phone. You can do it on a fucking iMac.
Yeah, I mean, it would literally be fucking 30% smaller if it didn't have those big ass bezels. I'm curious to see benchmark before I do any sort of real decisions.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
I want to see the thermals with this 8-core chip.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if it can cool it efficiently. I can imagine it can. It seems like it holds up with the iMac Pro with fucking 18 cores in there. So I can imagine it works pretty well. I also want to see what this Vega 48 can do. But that's cool, man. And then you have the iPad mini updates.
You do. Well, I was going to say, okay, let's redo this. I want to redo this for 1500 because this is what I would be interested in. And this is also why it's harder now. It's like,
because you were looking at the MacBook.
Still. And now it's like, well, fuck you.
I know. I was looking at a MacBook priced very, very similarly. This would be a cheaper option.
Yeah, but the MacBook would also be portable.
This would be a cheaper, more powerful option.
It would be, but I could take the MacBook to the coffee shop. And I guess with
Right.
the 21.5, I could take it to the coffee shop. I'm not going.
No. I can't take it to the coffee shop.
But okay, I'm humoring myself.
So you're looking at the 4K $1,500.
Okay, so
one.
$1,500. For $1,500, you either get the iMac with a 6-core 8th Gen i5, so you got your 86K basically, or
Yep.
your 8600, which is great, good enough chip. Still got 8 gigs of RAM because you can upgrade it yourself.
Yep.
You have an RX 560 with 4 gigs of GDR5, which is not great, but it's something. It's good enough.
And you're also not gaming on it at all.
Right.
So for productivity, I mean, it works pretty damn good in my MacBook. It's the same one in the
You would have to
MacBook.
deal with the Fusion drive. You'd have to spend extra money to get an SSD. You'd have to spend an extra $100 to do SSD, which was what I would do. I just get the smallest SSD.
And
you
then
have
get a-
Thunderbolt. Just put a massive storage
Yes.
drive through Thunderbolt.
Yep.
But still at this $1,500 price point, or you get a 8th gen i7 6-core, so you get that 8700, which is a much better processor. But then you get a 512 gigabyte SSD and then integrated graphics. That's the same fucking price. You lose graphics. You get a
I
big
see.
SSD,
I see what you're saying. You get
and
the integrated graphics.
You get the minor jump to the i7. All
Wait.
of those are good, but that's not nearly compelling enough to me as an actual graphics card. And oh, by the way, it's a fucking 4K P3 screen. for the same fucking price. I would take the 4K P3 screen over a very minor jump between that 86 to that 87. And then it's an SSD.
Yeah.
Just go buy that. Like, seriously, like, even if I try to kit it out the same, it's not that much more. Like, just go buy an iMac. Don't buy the Mac Mini, people. That's why I was so pissed about the Mac Mini.
No, yeah, like the screen is really worth a lot of money. It's such a good screen. It's such a good color accurate, color gamut displaying screen. And then, I mean, and like I said, for someone who does video editing, it's really like, do you want the portability? Because you still get good power. You know, you're getting good power with the MacBook Pro. I would say maybe even, comparable power. And portability, but you're also spending like $1,000 more to sort of spec it up in the same way, because you can add your own RAM here. You know, you can get 32 gigs of RAM. Can you believe they're charging $600 for 32 gigs of RAM?
Yeah,
that is
why I usually bitch about them.
Insanity. And then $450 for the Vega 48,
which is also overpriced, but is a good upgrade at least. But yeah, for me right now, it's like, no, dude, that $1,500 iMac's a really good sweet spot. I would definitely recommend that to people if they wanted a Mac.
Interesting. Yeah, because then, I mean, you could even get those 9th gen chips if you move up, and you're not spending that much more money. Spending about $1,000 more. You just lose portability if you were to compare it to the MacBook Pro. Fuck. I still think the MacBook is the better product, because it is so portable and like such a nice made product. But fuck. All right, that's it. I'm interested to see what WWDC has to offer. I'm interested to see if they talk anything about this new iOS. I need a new iOS.
I need NAB to happen.
You're trying to get a camera, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into a camera again. So
this is what you do. I'm going to tell you what you do. You get the EOS R. You get the 24-105. Spend like whatever the amount you spend.
So I'm up to $4,000 now. All right.
Somewhere around there. No, you're around like $3,000 or something like that.
Tomatoes. Okay.
But listen, hear me out. You probably won't ever have to upgrade your camera for a while.
I know.
You know, and you get a nice system that you can buy into and slowly upgrade down the line, and you become a Canon guy, and all your photos that you upload and videos will all kind of look like they'll have like that hip sort of like, good color graded look to it, and you'll be very pleased with the quality. It might hurt at first. The dropping that money it might hurt at first. I know that Panasonic is enticing, but you will have that reliability. That's what I would do. And if you do go Panasonic and you get the G, 85, then you could just keep it budget as possible. Don't get any of like the Lumix lenses. Get like those Mitacon ones. You know what I mean?
Keep
like
budget as possible, and then go buy Blackmagic.
Or just buy the Blackmagic.
Or just
Start out by. Are you looking at the Pocket?
It would be the Pocket for that, yeah.
Pocket Cinema.
But I'm not spending that much.
How much is it? $2,000?
Blackmagic's $1,300 without a lens, and it's a great deal for what it is. But realistically, you gotta kit the Blackmagic out to be about as expensive as you're talking about that ESOR.
Yeah, and I mean it's not a photo camera either. You're not getting a photo camera. Which I think you'd like. It will take nice pics. You go, anytime you travel, you bring the camera. It syncs right to your phone, which is super easy on Canon. It's just that initial purchase is pretty scary, but you can this is what I'm saying. You would have a reliable system you're buying into. Yeah. Basically a legacy system.
The last thing we mentioned or didn't mention, we tried mentioning, and then I cut you off. Are you going to go buy a new iMac or whatever? iPad.
We didn't talk about the iPad. No. No.
Same.
So yeah, iPad mini And
If
the
you-
iPad
if
Air
you
got
are-
spec bumps.
If you are looking at a new iPad, I'd buy the mini. Real talk. But what I would say also is I got in the normal iPad with an A10, so the only thing that's different is the A10 to the A12.
Yeah.
Everything else is exactly the same. I got that for $100.
Yeah.
So is that A12 worth $300 to you? Because you can find those on sale that cheap sometimes. And mine's
I would say no. I would say if you want the A12 that bad, because you're right. For $100, you can get that iPad with the A10, which is a perfectly fine chip, and you're not going to be doing much where you're going to need that actual A12. If you want to get, like, if you actually want to do like some power moves on your iPad, then just get the newer iPad Pro. Get the A12 in it. You're going to get the screen. You're going to get the USB-C. You're going to get the Photoshop that's coming out soon. You know what I mean? Like, that there's that option, or like you said, go with that. Like, I really don't see getting the iPad mini a smart move, because you can get the iPad that you have for so much cheaper, and it offers basically the same exact thing. Can you use a pencil on your iPad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, like literally that was the only major difference. And like, if you can't find that cheap, you have to buy the new iPad or the old iPad at its $320 price. Yeah, the Air is a lot more compelling to me then, or not the Air, the Mini.
Yeah.
Fuck, there's too many.
Yeah, because then
the
you're
Mini-
just getting the power, but you're just getting a smaller
you're
screen.
getting the spec bumps, but you're also getting that nicer form factor.
Yeah.
So like, you can use their shitty ass fucking keyboards with it. Yeah,
Yeah, they're the new ones too, which suck.
the hell suck.
They suck. If you get the new iPads, you can plug your own keyboard in USB-C.
Or just use all of them with the Bluetooth and Pro.
With the Bluetooth what?
And Pro, dude. It's like $80 for a good mechanical Bluetooth keyboard.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, I hate having to fucking use this folio keyboard.
Yeah, it's trash. Told you. So-
Yeah, it's garbage.
I
And it's
fucking
heavy.
hate those keyboards.
It adds so much more weight to it all.
Yeah. I can't use them. I can never buy them. I hate them so much.
Yeah.
So like that is like this is a feature. It's not a feature. You're gonna just buy a Bluetooth keyboard.
Dude, I'm still waiting on my Bridge. I fucking ordered it like 3 months ago. They're still like in production. Bullshit. Come on, Bridge. Get your shit together.
But if you need a new one, yeah, they're new, higher, weird middle end ones, which are intriguing to me. Not enough.
What's the difference between the Air and the Mini? The size?
Size.
What
As
size
far
is
as I
the
can tell,
Air?
the size. No, they're both exactly. It's just the size. It's a 10.5 versus a 7.9.
Oh, that's right. That's
So
right.
the Air is also bigger than the 9.7.
Right.
The Air is your like
Wow, they do.
Fake-
They sell a lot of
my
iPads.
fake iPad Pro from 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, get the Mini over the Air. All right, let's get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And also, don't forget to head over to our website, nolife.digital. And we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.